Dear devotees, I welcome you all to Bhakti Sangha Japa conference call for this mid-morning session. Please forgive me for stopping a beautiful chanting. Thank you so much, Preeti Vilasani Mataji, for reciting chapter 10 Bhagavad Gita so beautifully. Let us move to our next part of the session. Today's topic is going to be on Madhurya Kadambini, session 16, which will be given by Her Grace Kirtida Sundari Mataji. May I know who will have joined this morning?
Hare Krishna Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances, Jai Shri Prabhupada. This is Preeti Vilasani Dasi from Atlanta. Thank you, Mataji, for your very beautiful. Thank you, Mataji, for your very beautiful and warm welcoming.
Hare Krishna Preeti Vilasani Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru and Gauranga ki jai. All glories to your services. Thank you so much for joining, giving a beautiful association this morning. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Shivani Mataji, Dandavat Pranam to you and all Vaishnavas. Srila Prabhupada Srila Gurudev ki jai. Vrinda.
Hare Krishna Vrinda Gopika Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru and Gauranga ki jai. Thank you Mataji for joining and giving a beautiful association this morning. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Shivani Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. My Dandavat Pranams to all the assembled devotees. I am Sushmita from Mississauga, Canada. Thank you so much, Preeti Vilasani Mataji, for the beautiful recitation of Bhagavad Gita. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Shushmita Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru and Gauranga ki jai. Thank you so much for joining and giving a beautiful association all the way from Canada. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Shivani Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, Guru and Gauranga. This is Harita from Missouri City, Texas. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna Harita Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru and Gauranga ki jai. Thank you so much Mataji for joining and giving a beautiful association this afternoon. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. This is Uma from Oregon.
Hare Krishna
Mataji, very beautiful chanting.
Hare Krishna Uma Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru and Gauranga ki jai. Thank you so much for joining and giving me a beautiful association this morning. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna dear devotees, once again I welcome you all for this mid-morning session. I would like to start by sharing a quote by Srila Prabhupada ji. If death takes place, let here. There is nothing to be said new. Whatever I have to speak, I have spoken in my books. Now you try to understand it and continue your endeavor. Whether I am present or not present, it doesn't matter. As Krishna is living and entirely, similarly living being also lives entirely. But one who has done service to the Lord lives forever. So you have been taught to serve Krishna, and with Krishna will live eternally. Our life is eternal. A temporary disappearance of this body doesn't matter. Body is meant for disappearance, so live forever by serving Krishna. Vrindavan, May 17, 1977. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Good morning, dear devotees. Today we are very fortunate to have Her Grace Kirtida Sundari Mataji. Mataji will be enlightening us on the topic of Madhurya Kadambini, session 16. Hare Krishna, please accept my humble obeisances. Kirtida Sundari Mataji, thank you so much for giving your valuable time and beautiful association this morning. Waiting eagerly to hear from you, Mataji. Please take over. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru and Gauranga ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Shivani Mataji. Thank you for your warm welcoming, everybody. Thank you, each and every one of you, for joining us today in this session of Madhurya Kadambini. So, really grateful to have your kind association. So, we will start with our invocation prayers and then we will move forward with today's session. Om Jnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातां सहगना रघुनाथां वितं तं सजीवम् सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपदां सहगना रघु ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्त राधा कान्त नमस्तुते तप्त काञ्चन गौरांगी श्रीराधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी ऋषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रस्थाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवास आदि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे आनन्दलीलामय विग्रहाय हेमाभदिव्य छवि सुन्दराय तस्मै महाप्रेमरसप्रदाय चैतन्यचन्द्राय नमो नमस्ते चैतन्यचन्द्राय नमो नमस्ते चैतन्यचन्द्राय नमो नमस्ते गुरुवे गौरचन्द्राय राधिकाय तदालय कृष्णाय कृष्णभक्ताय तद्भक्ताय नमो नमः मुखं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातं वन्दे श्रीगुरुदीनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीकृष्णचैतन्येश्वरम् Cite the Mangalacharan for Madhurya Kadambini. हृद्वप्रेणवभक्तिशस्य वितते सञ्जीवनी स्वगमम् रम्भे कामतपर्तुदाहदमनी विश्वपगोलासिनी दूरन्मे मरुशाखिनोऽपि सरसि भाया भूयात् प्रभो श्रीचैतन्यकृपानिरङ्कुशमहा माधुर्यकादम्बिनी. So we are in the 8th shower of nectar, that is absolute fulfillment of the soul's yearning. Very esoteric subject matter itself, Madhurya Kadambini. And on top of that, discussing this 8th shower, the 8th Vrishti, that deals with the Prema Bhakti, is definitely beyond my scope. But request all of your kind blessings and prayers so that I may be able to speak something relevant to this subject matter in glorification of Madhurya Kadambini and purification of my own self. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhu bhayavacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namo. So in the last class, we have already started this 8th shower of nectar, that is 8th vrishti, that is Prema Bhakti. So let's do a quick recap with the slides. We discussed about Prema, and then we discussed that how Prema comes when Bhava or Rati has thoroughly melted the heart of a devotee, of a sadhaka, with a desire to attain Bhagavan. and the desire to do what is favorable for Bhagavan, and the desire to have affection for Bhagavan. It increases to the ultimate limit of ecstasy, and it blesses the devotee with a strong desire or sense of mamata, that is possessiveness. That stage is known as prema. So you can, in one sense, say that when bhava matures, prema comes into being. And then we discussed who is perfect siddha, that a sadhaka is considered perfect siddha only at the stage of prema, when one gets its surup siddhi. Then we saw the ultimate goal of prema and the pancham purusharth, which is this prema, where the other purusharthas have no value. And then we saw the characteristics of prema bhakti. The true characteristics are the Sandanandra Visheshatma and Shri Krishna Akarshani. So we have discussed this in detail in our last class. And then we saw that how prema is like chewing hot sugar cane, and we discussed this verse from Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela. And last we saw the analogies, that how when this ecstasy is there in the heart of a prema bhakta, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur said that no poet can ever be able to describe those ecstasies in the heart that is experienced by a premi bhakta. But then he tried to give three analogies for a traveler who is overwhelmed with joy when he sees a leafy banyan tree, a shade of leafy banyan tree with hundreds of pots of ice cold Ganga water. An elephant's delight who is caught and scorched by a forest fire, bathes in incessant torrents of rain spilling out of dense clouds, and the bliss of one who has suffered thousands of grave illness and yearns to experience the taste upon drinking sweet, supremely sweet nectar, ambrosia. So we stopped there. After that, the author, he tells us that this prema then finally gets matured. And this prema, we'll go to the next slide. When this prema assumes the nature of a magnet that attracts the black iron Sri Krishna. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur gives this understanding that just as the child, how the child is born? The child is born from the intercourse of husband and wife. Similarly, this prema, when prema, it meets with the eagerness to have a direct meeting with the Lord. It meets with eagerness, and then actually the direct meeting of the Lord takes place. There is no other way. So how the child is born? When husband and wife unites. How prema meets its eagerness? When the Lord gives his darshan. Okay, there is no other way, because this prema is actually seeing the Lord face to face. That is what is prema bhakti. Now, you can say that when the Lord performed his manifest pastimes on earth, at that time also, everybody saw the Supreme Lord. Even those who were having the demonic tendencies also saw the Supreme Lord. So that means, were they also on the level of prema? So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that yes, they saw him, but that is not the proper darshan. Okay, then what is proper darshan of the Supreme Lord? Because unless and until we relish the sweetness in him, we cannot have his darshan. Just by seeing the Lord, Duryodhan saw, Shishupal saw, all the asuras, they saw Krishna face to face. But that seeing face to face is not enough. Then what is needed is the devotional attitude. Just seeing Lord, that is not the darshan. But seeing the Lord, those who are seeing the Lord without relishing the sweetness of the Lord is not the right darshan. Then again, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur tells us, just like the tongue, when it is polluted by jaundice, can it relish the sweetness of a sugar candy? No, it cannot relish. The tongue has to be clear of that disease which is known as jaundice. Only then the tongue will able to relish the sweetness of the sugar candy. So similarly, this prema, which is the essence of Krishna's pleasure potency, it attracts Krishna and brings Krishna right in front of his devotees' eyes. So eagerness in the premi bhakta compels Krishna to show his darshan, to bestow his darshan. Okay, that's the understanding. So that eagerness in a premi bhakta that compels Krishna to show his darshan, does the Lord reveals it just simply? No. The Lord reveals it through his madhurya, through his sweetness. And then how it is, then Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that this Bhagavan has 7 madhurya, has 7 qualities, and through one by one, he bestows his darshan. First is his saundarya, that is beauty. Next is his saurabhya, that is through his fragrance. Third is sauswarya, that is through his sweet voice. Fourth is saukumarya, that is soft and tender touch. Then saurasya, the taste of his lips. Sixth is audarya, that is magnanimity. And the last is karunya, that is compassion. So these are the 7 qualities that Krishna possesses, and this is how he bestows his darshan to his premi bhakta. Now we will see one by one that how these qualities are used by the Supreme Lord. So first is Saundarya and Saurabhya, we'll take it. So Chaitanya Charitamrita describes Krishna Rupamrita Sindhu Taharata Ranga Bindu Ekha Bindu Jagat Dubai. Just one drop from the wave of the nectarian ocean of Krishna's beauty can flood the entire world. So what happened? The first darshan arises when the Lord reveals his sweetness to the eyes of his premi bhakta. That is through his beauty, through saundarya. And then what happened? This sweetness of Krishna's beauty turns all the senses and the mind of that premi bhakta into eyes. All the senses. See, we see only through our eyes. But when Krishna bestows his beauty, his saundarya to his premi bhakta, then all the senses of that premi bhakta turns into eyes, because he wants to relish Krishna's beauty, and that premi bhakta cannot relish it through his 2 eyes. He needs thousands and thousands of eyes to relish the beauty of Krishna. Therefore, all the senses, they turn into eyes. Means that the eyes are so much concentrated in seeing the beauty of Krishna. And then what happens? When the eyes are drinking the nectar of Krishna's beauty, then the sattvika vikar, the ashta sattvika vikar starts happening. Like shivering, tears in the eyes. And then what happens? The vision gets disrupted. And the result is the devotee faints, because he is no more able to relish the sweetness of Krishna's beauty. As the nectar ocean of Sri Krishna's beauty rises before the eyes of the intensely eager devotee, all his sensory faculties assemble in his eyes, craving to behold Sri Krishna's charming form. But then devotee's darshan is interrupted by ecstatic transformations, such as becoming stunned, horripilation, and tears, and in bliss, he loses consciousness. So the devotee faints. Then what happened? At that time, in order to bring back the consciousness of the Premi Bhakta, Bhagavan reveals his second Madhurya, his second sweetness, and that is his Saurabhya. Saurabhya means his fragrance, which permeates the devotee's sense of smell. So then what happened? When the Lord, in order to bring back that Premi Bhakta into external consciousness, the Lord gives his fragrance, his Saurabhya. And then what happened? The devotee nostrils, they are filled up with the second sweetness of Madhurya of Lord Krishna, that is Saurabhya, his fragrance. And then what happened? The devotees, all the senses, they turn into nose. And then when the devotee is trying to relish the fragrance, that fragrance is so intoxicated that again the devotee faints for the second time. And then to bring back the devotee into his external consciousness, then Krishna bestows his third Madhurya, that is Sausvarya. So to pacify his devotee, Bhagavan says, my dear devotee, I'm subservient to you. I'm your property. Don't be anxious. Let your experience of me fulfill your desire. In this way, Bhagavan manifests his third sweetness, the mellifluousness of his voice, his Sausvarya, to the ears of the devotee. So now what happened? He says, oh devotee, don't worry. I'm yours only. I'm fully subdued by you. Don't be upset. In this way, the Lord appears to the devotee's ears. He starts speaking. And that is his sweetness. And that sweetness is Sausvarya. Because when Krishna speaks and devotee hears, because Krishna's voice is so beautiful, it's Sausvarya, it's so beautiful that when this beautiful voice enters into the karana, into the ears of the devotee, all the devotee's senses, they convert into ears, because now he wants to relish the sweetness of Krishna's voice. And then what happened? As soon as he is relishing Krishna's voice through ears, then again in that ecstasy, the devotee faints third time. Right? And then in ecstasy, when devotee faints, by hearing that sweet voice, the devotee's other senses, they become like ears, and the devotee faints for the third time. Then Bhagavan, who is full of compassion, bestows the experience of his fourth sweetness, that is Saukumarya, that is the tender touch of his lotus feet, his hands, or chest. So his fourth sweetness is Saukumarya. So when the devotee has fainted third time, then there is no other way. Then Krishna touches that devotee. And through that touch, the devotee comes back to his consciousness. And then it has been explained by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur that this sweetness of Saukumarya is Bhagavan manifests his tender touch according to the bhav of a devotee. Okay? That his tender touch, the Lord gives his devotees, those who are in Dasya bhav, then Krishna will touch his feet onto their heads. If the devotee is in the mood of parental bhav, Sakhya bhav, then the touch of his lotus hands will be there. If the devotee is in the mood of Vatsalya bhav, then his hands will be there just to wipe off the tears that are flowing from the eyes of that Vatsalya Premi Bhakta. And if the devotee is in Madhurya Bhav, then Krishna touches his own chest to the breasts of those devotees. That means he embraces. He gives his loving embrace. in order to bring back the external consciousness of that devotee. Right? So in this way, Bhagavan uses. But then, after having that loving embrace, after having that beautiful touch of Krishna's, then again the devotee faints. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, then again the devotee faints, he becomes unconscious, and then Krishna uses his fifth sweetness, his fifth Madhurya, that is Saurasya. So after this, as the Premi Bhakta begins to fall into fourth deep swoon, swoon means to feel unconscious, Sri Bhagavan manifests his fifth Madhurya, namely the sweet taste of his lips, which the devotee savors. And he reveals this confidential aspect of his charming sweetness to those in the mood of a female sweetheart. Now, that doesn't mean that all the others will not get. Again, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that those Premi Bhaktas who are in the mood of Dasya, they will relish the sweetness of Krishna's lips by getting the remnants of Krishna's food that has been eaten by Krishna, and or his betel leaves, betel nuts that Krishna chew. So they will get the remnants. The friends and the parents, they will also relish Krishna's lips, the taste of Krishna's lips, by taking the remnants. We see that how cowherd boys, they eat jutha of Krishna, right? And even Krishna also eat jutha of cowherd boys. But for those who are in Madhurya Bhav, then Krishna bestow this sweetness of his lips by kissing the devotees. Right? Now experiencing that sweetness of Krishna's lips, again the devotee faints. He experiences losing consciousness in that ecstatic mood, reaches such magnificent depth that Bhagavan is now unable to revive the devotee by any other means. He feels very incompatible to bring back the consciousness of the devotee. And then Krishna bestows his sixth Madhurya, that is his magnanimity, that is his Audarya. He gives that Audarya. How? By revealing his own beauty, his sweet fragrance, his tenderness, his sweet taste, so that the devotee, through one's eyes, ears, nose, skin, may be able to relish altogether Krishna's beauty. That's how Krishna's generosity or Krishna's Madhurya, his sixth sweetness, his attribute of magnanimity, Audarya, comes into the picture. Now someone at that time, Prema, understanding the indication of Sri Bhagavan, increases exponentially, and that causes the devotee's hankering to swell accordingly. And in this way, he personally rules the devotee's mind as his presiding deity, expanding his energy in such a manner that the devotee, now unimpeded by tears, fainting, and so on, begins to relish simultaneously, taste in the core of the heart, the sweetness of all the Bhagavan's qualities, such as beauty. So simultaneously perceive his beauty, fragrance, sweet voice, tender touch, and taste. So when Krishna bestows this seventh sweetness, his seventh Madhurya of Audarya, that is compassion, that is not compassion, but his magnanimous nature. At that time, the devotee relishes altogether his sweetness in the form of his beauty, fragrance, sweet voice, tender touch, and taste. So now the question arises, that how can it be possible? Because a devotee can relish one Madhurya at a time. Because we have seen that how one Madhurya, when it is bestowed upon a Premi Bhakta, this Premi Bhakta faints. This Premi Bhakta loses one's consciousness by just receiving one Madhurya at a time. But since he has only one mind, how can it simultaneously relish all the 5 kinds of Madhurya through his 5 senses? How can it be possible? It's not possible. Then Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that it is possible, because the love of the devotee increases greatly, and along with this, his thirst, his eagerness to see Krishna, to relish Krishna's sweetness also increases. And he gives the example that just as the moon shines when there is a full moon, then what happens? There are high tides, because the ocean waves, they swells up. There is a great agitation in the ocean waves. Similarly, the ocean of devotees' bliss, it swells up and makes it possible to simultaneously relish all the 5 features of Lord Krishna's sweetness. And this is because Krishna himself bestows his 7th quality, that is Karunya. Shri Bhagavan, by the power of his Achintya Shakti, enables all the senses of the devotee to concurrently attain the functions of sight, hearing, and so on, like before, and also gives him the power to deeply relish his 5 Madhurya. And the devotee then desires to experience in full all the varieties of Madhurya that exist in Sri Bhagavan, such as his beauty and fragrance. An example is given of a Chataka bird. So when there is rainfall, this Chataka bird is looking for that rain showers. This Chataka bird, in the scorch heat of summer, desires to drink all the rain showers at once, because that Chataka bird is so thirsty. He's longing for that. This Chataka bird doesn't drink water from any other reservoir of water, from no other source, only wants the rainwater. And now it's scorching heat summertime. So what this Chataka bird's desire? This desire is to drink all the water of rain. But can he ever do with this small beak? No, it's not possible. Similarly, when the Lord sees that there is eagerness in his loving devotee, there is thirst in that loving devotee to relish the sweetness of the Supreme Lord. And if that devotee is not able to relish, then Krishna says, what is the point of my sweetness? Everything is waste. If my devotees are not able to relish my sweetness, what is the point of my sweetness? Yes, the Chataka bird with the small beak cannot hold the entire rainwater. Similarly, the devotee senses, even though they are level on Premi Bhakta, their senses are not so compatible that they can relish the sweetness of Krishna's, all his sweetness, all his beauty, his, his voice, his sweet voice, his tender touch. The devotee is not enough. It's not enough for the devotees to relish everything all at once simultaneously. But then Krishna thinks, if that devotee is not able to relish, what is the point of my sweetness? All this sweetness is just useless. Therefore, he extends his 7th quality, his 7th sweetness, and that is his compassion, his karunya. So then Krishna bestows his full compassion so that devotee can relish. Therefore, just to help the devotee relish those attributes in full, he manifests his 7th sweetness, his quality of compassion. Now, this quality of karunya, compassion, is foremost among all Bhagavan's potencies. So we have also seen in the case of Damodar Leela, when Mother Yashoda wants to tie up Krishna, she was not able to tie Krishna because all Krishna's Shakti, they were present in the belly of Krishna, which were not letting Mother Yashoda to bind their master. So finally, his Karunya Shakti, which is his sweetness as well as his Shakti, okay, that comes into being. And as soon as his Anugraha Shakti or his Karunya Shakti comes into picture, all the other Shaktis leaves. And when he bestows his Karunya, his Anugraha on the devotee, then the devotee is able to fulfill the task. And that's when Mother Yashoda was able to bind Krishna. So this Karunya is the sweetness also, and this Karunya in the name of Anugraha is also the Shakti of Krishna. So holy name, we see that just as we see in the previous slides that how Krishna is trying to bestow all his sweetness, but then the devotee is desiring what? Oh, I wish all my senses can become eyes so that I can relish the beauty. Oh, then all my senses can become ears so I can relish the melodious voice of Krishna. Oh, all my senses can become nose so that I can relish the fragrance of Krishna. This way, the devotee feels that his senses can just be engaged in relishing Krishna's Madhurya. Similarly, there's a beautiful verse. I know most of you must be knowing about this verse, where Srila Rupa Goswami in his Vidakt Madhava Nataka describes that how holy name itself makes all senses inert of a Premi Bhakta. Because abhinnatvam nam naminu. There is no difference between Krishna and Krishna's holy name. And that's the famous verse. That verse is Tunde Tandavani Ratimritanute Tundavali Labdhaye Karna Krodha Kadambini Ghatayate Karnambudhebhya Spriham Cheta Prangana Sangini Vijayate Sarvendriyanam Kritim No Jane Janita Kiya Bhir No Jane Janita Kiya Bhiramritai Krishneti Varnadvai. So Rupa Goswami says that I don't know what's there in this Krishna Varna Dvai, the two syllables, Krishna. I don't know what is there in these two syllables, Krishna Dvai, that as soon as I chant Krishna, what happens? When my tongue chants, Tunde Tandavani Rate, I don't know what nectar this two-syllable Krishna has, that as soon as I chant this word, this two-syllable word, Krishna, they start appearing to dance within my mouth. And at that time, my only desire is Tundavali Labdhaye, that may I have many, many mouths, because I want to relish the sweetness of Krishna's holy name. But then what happened? As soon as I chanted, the name entered into the ears. Karna Krodha Kadambini Ghatayate. It enters into the ear holes. And I want to relish the sound vibration of this holy name. And that I feel that these two are not enough. I want more and more ears. I wish that I may have millions of ears. And Cheta Prangana Sangini. And then this holy name, through the ear holes, enters into the heart of a devotee. And then what happens? As soon as it enters the heart, the holy names start dancing in the courtyard of the heart. And then what happens? Vijayate sarva indriyakritam. It conquers all the senses. It conquers the activities of mind. No jane janita kriya bhi. I don't know what happened. All my senses then become inert. They become inaccessible. They are not able to function properly because the holy name has captured, has literally kidnapped that Premi Bhakta. So he gives the analogy here, Kadambini ghatayate. So there is a Kadambini shak. There is a leafy vegetable, Kadambini shak, that when it grows, it doesn't leave even a single space, even a space that can acquire a pin. Even that much space is not left. And it acquires the entire land. This is how it grows. So he says that when this holy name enters into my mouth, then I wish to have many, many mouths. And through mouth, when it enters into my ears, I wish to have many, many ears. And through my ear holes, when it enters into my heart, then it dances in the courtyard of my heart, and all my senses become inert. They are functionless. Oh, what is there in this two-syllable name, Krishna? I do not know how much nectar these two syllables Krishna have produced. When the holy name of Krishna is chanted, it appears to dance within the mouth, then desire many, many mouths. And when the holy name enters the holes of the ears, desires many, many ears. And when the holy name dances in the courtyard of the heart, it conquers the activities of the mind, and therefore all the senses become inert. So this is a very beautiful verse, which was quoted by Srila Rupa Goswami. And it is also in context of what we are seeing in this Madhurya Kadambini, that how when Krishna bestows his darshan, a devotee is not able to relish and desires millions of nose, millions of eyes, millions of skin to touch, to feel that ecstasy of Krishna's sweetness. And then Krishna bestows his Karunya Shakti. Because of that Karunya Shakti, the Ashtasatvika Vikars that happen, the ecstasy, the symptoms of ecstasy that blocks a Premi Bhakta to relish the sweetness of the Supreme Lord, that symptoms, they no more become an impediment in relishing Krishna's beauty. So that is his Krishna's Karunya Shakti. So as we mentioned, that Karunya is also Krishna's sweetness, but is also Krishna's Shakti. And that Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, he describes. He describes that there are actually 8 energies of Sri Bhagavan, 9 rather. Yeah. विमलोताक्षरिणी ज्ञान क्रिया योगिति शक्तः प्रवहि सत्य तथा सेना अनुग्रह नवमी स्मृतः. He describes that there are 8 energies. Vimala Shakti, Utkarshini. So actually Bhagavan's Shakti is innumerable. Okay, we cannot count. He has a lot of Shaktis. But he describes that there are 8 principal energies of the Supreme Lord, that is Vimala Shakti, Utkarshini, Jnana, Kriya, Yoga, Pravai, Satya, and Ishana. All these 8 Shaktis, they remain situated upon the 8 petals of the lotus. And the whirl of that lotus is his 9th Shakti, that is known as Anugraha Shakti or Karunya or compassion. And this Shakti rules over the 8 potencies as their presiding goddess. So as we discussed in Damodar Leela also, these 8 Shaktis were present in the belly of Krishna and were stopping Mother Yashoda to bind their master. But when this Karunya Shakti, when this Anugraha Shakti, which is also Krishna's sweetness, comes into being, then all the Shaktis they took back step, and Mother Yashoda was able to bind Krishna. This quality of karunya, compassion, is foremost among all Bhagavan's potencies. She presides over Sri Bhagavan's 8 intrinsic potencies, because this karunya Shakti is the whirl of that lotus. Right? So it rules over, she presides over Bhagavan's 8 intrinsic potencies like Vimala, Utkarshini, and so on, as mentioned in the Agama Shastras. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur doesn't give the detail about what are these 8 kind of Shaktis like Vimala, Utkarshini, Jnana, Kriya, Yoga. He doesn't give much explanation. And fortunately, unfortunately, I was also not able to find much. But by the mercy of our Guru Vargas, especially His Holiness Srila Radha Govind Maharaj, I was able to find, because I was able to find one of his lecture in which he explained all these 8 Shaktis of Bhagavan. So we will not describe in detail, but we'll have a little bit of idea that what are these Shaktis. Okay. So these are the energies of Sri Bhagavan. So just you saw that how these are the 8 Shaktis, which are the lotus petal. But the whirl of that lotus petal is his Anugraha Shakti. Okay. So first is Vimala. Vimala Shakti means the strength of his purity. Okay. So what Srila Radha Govind Maharaj, he mentioned in his lecture, I'll just try to summarize, paraphrase it to make myself and everybody understand about these 8 Shaktis. So first is Vimala. Mala means contamination. Okay. So Krishna is beyond all contaminations. Therefore, another name of Krishna is Vimala. Okay. It's Vimala. V, like from Vrindavan. But we know that how Bengalis, they speak as Brindaban, right? They make it as B, so they make it as Vimal. But actually it's Vimala Shakti, okay? It's not Vimala, it's Vimala Shakti. Mala means contamination and Vimal means something which is beyond all contaminations, all ignorance, all avidya. Mala also means avidya. Okay, so Krishna is not bound by any time. He is fully cognizant. He knows his past, present, and future. He knows everything. So he is beyond all ignorance. He is beyond all avidya. He is beyond all contamination. So therefore, one of the Shakti is known as Vimala Shakti. Okay. Next is Krishna's Utkarshani. That is the strength of abundance of prosperity. That is his Utkarshani Shakti. Utkarshani means that Krishna, Utkarsh actually word means fame or prosperity, yash. So Krishna, there is no one who is equal to Krishna. He is best of all. He is having the opulence which is in fullest. Nobody can have strength comparable to Krishna. Nobody can be so beautiful or attractive as compared to Krishna. So he is best in everything. Okay. So he is best even as he is different from all kind of jivas and all other his own incarnations. But Krishna, he is best. Even Krishna, he says that all the manifestation in this material world is what? Is just a spark of his splendor. Right? So therefore, he cannot reject anyone who surrenders unto him. And that's his Utkarshani Shakti. Means he is all famous and no one is equal to him and he is best of all. That is the beauty of Krishna's Utkarshani Shakti. The third Shakti describes is Krishna's Jnana Shakti, that is the strength of knowledge. So this is, we all know that how Krishna is all knowledgeable. He is all cognizant, right? Abhigna it's been described in the very first verse of Srimad Bhagavatam that Krishna is abhigna, means he is all cognizant. He's independent, he's Swarat. So he is all knowledgeable. He knows about the past, present, and future of everybody. And therefore, nobody can be compared to his Gyan. So therefore, this one of the Shakti that Krishna possesses is the strength of knowledge, Jnana Shakti. Then comes the Kriya Shakti. Kriya Shakti means the strength to act and produce results. Okay. So Krishna has all the power to create anything. So Kriya means Kala also. We know that how Krishna was expert in all the arts. Even when he went to Sandipamuni ashram, he learned all those 64 arts in 64 days. So he is expert in all arts. We cannot create anything. If we want to create anything, definitely we will be taking the ingredients of Krishna only. But Krishna has his own creation. He has his own ingredients. So that is because of Krishna's Kriya Shakti. Okay. Next comes Krishna's Yoga Shakti. Now, yoga, we all know, is the meaning of yoga is the union or connection. But yoga also means remedy or solution. So Krishna's Yoga Shakti provides the best solution or the best remedy. Example, when Samvartaka clouds were sent by Indra, it's Krishna's Yoga Shakti that made Krishna hold Girirajji. When there was forest fire, it's because of Krishna's Yoga Shakti that Krishna was able to drink that forest fire. So yoga means remedy. Roga means cure. Krishna has the cure or remedy or solution for everything. When Arjun took a vow to kill Jayadratha before sunset, which was quite impossible, then it was Krishna's Yoga Shakti who brought the solution that Krishna was able to cover the sun, and it was sunset. Jayadratha came out of that Chakravyuh. Arjun was able to shoot an arrow. So this is Krishna's Yoga Shakti. Now comes Krishna's Pravahi Shakti. Pravahi Shakti is Krishna's strength of variegated bliss that he enjoys. Then Krishna's Satya Shakti, the strength offered by the very existence of the Lord. Satya Shakti means that all his qualities, all Krishna's opulences will always be there. They were there from eternity and they will be there till eternity. That is Krishna's Satya Shakti, means he is the absolute truth. Then comes Krishna's Ishana Shakti. Ishana Shakti is the strength of supreme controller and master. So Krishna will be Ishwar always. He will be Ishwar. He is Ishwar and he will always be Ishwar. He will always be the controller, the proprietor and master. Because this Ishwar is not a post like we have Indra, Chandra or Brahma. Krishna is the Ishwar and that is his Ishana Shakti. So these are the 8 energies of Bhagavan, but the last is Anugraha Shakti, that is the strength of Lord's compassion, which is the whirl in this lotus petals. So as we discussed, this Karunya Shakti is also Krishna's sweetness, but this Anugraha Shakti is also Krishna's strength by which he bestows that prema onto his prema bhakta. Now comes Sri Bhagavan's qualities. So before that, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur describes that there are 39. So we saw that how there are different Shaktis. But then he says that there are 39 attributes that are present in the Supreme Lord. 39 qualities. Now the question comes, why we all have to discuss all this? Because Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that a Premi Bhakta, he longs for that prem or eagerness for his beloved Lord Krishna. But then one should know who is Sri Krishna. So therefore, he takes a detour little bit and he describes about Krishna's Shaktis, his qualities, and further things. So we will also just go through all these. We cannot describe in detail about all these qualities. And even Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur and Madhurya Kadambini have not described in detail. He has not even described in detail about those 8 Shaktis, but I thought that it's quite relevant and was able to find a lecture by Maharaj, so thought of covering it. But with qualities he just mentioned, so we will also go through it. The following 39 qualities are inexhaustibly present in Sri Bhagwan. So now these qualities are also present in us. But as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu propounded this philosophy of Achintya Bheda Bheda Tattva, that gives us the understanding that these qualities that are present in Krishna are also present in Jiva, but in Jiva they are present in minute form. Whereas in Sri Bhagavan, these qualities are present in full. Inexhaustibly, they are present in Sri Bhagavan. So truthfulness, that is Satya, cleanliness, Shauch, compassion, Daya, forbearance, Shanti, renunciation, Tyag, self-satisfaction, Santosh, straightforwardness, Arjava or Saralta, steadiness of mind is Shama, control of the senses is Dhamma, austerity, Tapasya, impartiality, Samya, tolerance, Titiksha, equanimity or indifference to loss or gain, Uparati, seeing through the eyes of scriptures, Shruta or Shastra Vichar, knowledge, Jnana, detachment, Virakti, divine majesty, Aishwarya, chivalry, Shaurya, splendor, Tej, strength, Bala, memory, Smriti, independence, Swatantrata, Swarat, dexterity of all in all activities, Kaushal, he is Kalashakti, beauty, his Kanti or Saundarya, then patience is Dhairya, then kind-heartedness is Mardava, then boldness is Pragalpata, then expertise of the mind, politeness is Vinaya, a pleasant nature is his Shila or Suswabhava, his determination, Sahan Shakti, his expertise of the mind and knowledge acquiring senses, Ojaha, expertise in the working senses, Bala, supreme fortune, Bhag, gravity, Gambhirya, steadiness, Thirta, faultlessness, Astikya or Shraddha, faithlessness, fame is Kirti, worthiness of worship is Man, and pridelessness is Ahankar, Ahankriti. So this is his 39 Bhagavan's qualities. But again, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, when he describes this, he just mentions one line, that Sri Hari's quality of affection for his devotees reigns like an emperor over all these qualities. So yes, these qualities are there, but his quality of affection means his quality of compassion or daya, that is the foremost among all these qualities. After describing this, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that it's not only about the qualities. Yes, God is the ocean of innumerable attributes, and they are endless and they are faultless. But still, because how they are faultless? Because Krishna is Surya Sama, is like a sun. When the sun rises, is there any way that the darkness can still prevail or darkness can still exist? No. So similarly, when the Supreme Lord is there is not even the slightest fault to exist. But Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that just like the qualities in Krishna in full are the qualities in Jiva in minuteness, similarly, the qualities in Jiva in the form of faults should be present in the Supreme Lord. Therefore, he describes these 18 faults. And these 18 faults is from Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, that is illusion, moha. So you can relate to all this, that we all are into all these 18 faults. But how these faults are also present in Krishna, that we will see. So illusion, that is moha, lassitude, that is tandra, and tendency to err, to commit mistake, to be bewildered, brahma, harshness, ruksharasata, libidinous or intense lust, kama ulbhana, greed, restlessness or fickleness, lolata, madness or pride, mada, envy, matsarya, violence, himsa, depression or exhaustion, kheda, exertion, parishrama, dishonesty, asatya, anger, krodha, hankering, akanksha, apprehension or fear, ashanka, to completely bewilder others, vishva vibhrama, partiality or contradiction, vishvamatva, and the tendency to depend on others, parapeksha. The eternal consciousness and blissful form of Bhagwan, replete with all these opulences, is free from these 18 great faults. Because there cannot be any fault in Krishna. But then why Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that these faults are also present in Krishna? Then he says, why not? When Krishna, when he was playing with his cowherd boys, his friends, and Brahma came and stole all his calves and the boys, then Krishna was searching for them. Everywhere he was searching. Oh, where is my Sudam? Where is Sridham? Where is Madhumangal? Where is Subal? Where is my Ujjwal? Where is my Arjun? So he was calling out the names of all his cowherd boys, but he was not able to find. That was showing Krishna's bewilderment. Krishna was bewildered for a second that where are my cowherd boys? So that means that fault is also present in Krishna. Sometimes Krishna is tired of fighting with the demons, and therefore he wants to rest on the bed of flowers, placing his head on the lap of one of the cowherd boy. This shows Krishna's fatigue, his distress. He also gets tired. He also wants to take rest. And then Krishna also gets deluded. Sometimes Krishna released the calves and to drink the milk of the cows. And this will arouse anger in the gopis. This shows Krishna's fickleness. When Indra basically, when he showered the torrential rain, Krishna took up a vow. I will destroy the power, the pride of this Indra. What does he think of himself? This shows Krishna's enviousness nature. He was envy of Indra. We find Krishna violent. When we find Krishna violent? When he killed Putana. When Krishna was performing his Mridbhakshan Leela, eating dirt, at that time, Krishna told his mother, I didn't eat dirt today. That shows Krishna's fault of lying. He was guilty of lying. Krishna killing Jarasandh was showing his anger. When he killed Jarasandh, he shows his anger. And then, during Damodar Leela, morning time, when Mother Yashoda was churning butter, Krishna came rubbing his eyes and showed this fault of desire to drink Mother Yashoda's milk. When Brahma stole all his cows, he was bewildered, but then he was anxious what to do. So that shows Krishna's anxiety also, because all the mothers will be waiting for their son to return in the evening, and nobody was there. That shows Krishna's anxiety. Krishna declares in Bhagavad Gita that I am not partial, I am equal to all, but those who are inclined toward me, they are my devotees. I take special care of them. That also shows Krishna's partiality. And when Krishna says, I'm subdued by my devotees, that shows Krishna's dependence on others. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that all these faults are present in Krishna too. But these 18 faults that are mentioned in scriptures, they are found in the living entities, which include demigods and demons. Even though these faults are by no means present in Bhagavan, by the entreaty of the Kripa Shakti, sometimes avatars like Lord Ramachandra and Krishna Chandra gracefully manifest these faults. I mean, Ramachandra was anxious. He was bewildered when Mother Sita was kidnapped. He shows his anger when Samudra was not giving, when the ocean was not giving him the way to go to Lanka. Hey, what happened? So this is how Krishna gives this faults. But then Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, he says, are these faults actually present in Krishna? Do we think that all these faults, so-called faults, are the faults that are present in Krishna? Then he says that no. Actually, these faults are not the faults that we see in this material world. These faults shown by the Supreme Lord, like delusion, like anger, or like anxiety, like dependence on others, all these faults are actually to delight his devotees, because the devotees feel pleasure. So to reciprocate with his devotees, Krishna or Lord Ramachandra, they show these faults to enjoy, to play, to protect his devotees. Krishna shows his anger towards Indra, shows his enviousness towards Indra, but for not himself, for Vrajvasis, because he was making all possible ways to drown or to kill those Vrajvasis. Krishna cannot tolerate when it comes to the problem of his devotees. He cannot tolerate. So these attributes, they are completely free of the worldly nature. What enviousness we possess, what anxiety we have, what desires we have are full of material things. But this qualities, these faults, so-called faults that are present in Krishna, that Krishna shows in his Narvat Leela, in his human-like pastimes, they are free from all these worldliness. Without these faults, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur quotes in quotes that without these faults, Krishna's pastimes cannot reach perfection. So just to enhance the sweetness of his pastimes, Krishna apparently dramatize to possess these faults. It's just a drama. Okay, it's just a drama that Krishna is playing. Therefore, it says it's Narvat Leela, his human-like pastimes. But actually, these are not the faults. And then Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur also says that out of this 18, 16 are still there in Krishna, but there are 2 faults that are not there in Krishna. And those 2 faults are his harshness, ruksharasata, and his intense lust, libidinousness, that is kama ulbhana. These two are the faults that Krishna never displays even while performing his Narvat Leela. Even while performing his human-like pastimes, Krishna is 100% devoid of these two faults. He cannot be harsh towards his devotees. Ruksharasata. Now you can say, well, Krishna was showing his harshness by killing all the suras, Agasur, Bakasur. He was showing his harshness. But that was not the harshness, because when Krishna was killing them, he was bestowing his mercy to them, because Krishna gave them liberation. And then the lust, intense lust, is also not present in Krishna. This we know that how from Srimad Bhagavatam, when Krishna entered in Dwarka, at that time it is being described that how when Krishna enters Dwarka and enters into each palace of all his queens, the queens were longing to embrace Krishna, because Krishna was out for quite a few months. He was out from Dwarka. So they were longing, but Krishna was showing his love towards the queens, but he was not affected with the lust to enjoy those queens. This is mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam. Okay, if you want, I can show the verse also. Just now it got reflected. Let me see if I'm able to find. Okay. So actually we'll end here. My presentation is definitely ended. So I'll share this verse that how Krishna is not affected by the lust. Okay. This is the verse. Uttham bhava pishuna malaval guhasa व्रीडावलोकनिहतो मदनो पियासां सम्मूय चापमहजत् प्रमदोतमस्ता यस्येन्द्रियं विमिथं कुहकेर्न शेको. Although the queen's beautiful smiles and fruitive glances were all spotless and exciting, and although they could conquer Cupid himself, Kamadev himself, by making him give up his bow in frustration, and although even the tolerant Shiva could fall victim to them, still, despite all their magical feats and attraction, they could not agitate the senses of the Supreme Lord. So this is how it's described that Krishna is free from these two things. First is harshness, and then is Krishna's intense lust. So Krishna is free from all this. So we'll stop here. It's already 12:09. I think so we will take 2 more sessions, 2 more Fridays in this. Next Friday, probably we'll discuss a little bit more as described by Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. And in the last class on Friday, second week, we will see that how Krishna, we'll see that the overview kind of, we'll just do a recap of the entire Madhurya Kadambini. So we'll take 2 more Fridays and then we'll end up. So thank you all so much. We'll pause for today. Thank you for your patiently listening. Thank you for your association. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur ki jai. Shri Madhurya Kadambini ki jai.
Jai, jai, jai. Mataji, I want to have 2 questions. First of all, very, very intense, very beautiful and very nice class. I enjoyed it. I know we'll never, not we, I will never get there, I don't know. But still, it was very nice to see how great devotees actually experience Krishna on the platform of Prema. So that was very beautiful, very, very nice. It was a very enjoyable class. It gives so much hope and all that. That was nice. Mataji, can you go to your slides and then show me the, we gradually went through different steps of how the devotee smells Krishna, feels the touch of Krishna, and then tastes Krishna. Before that, what are the steps? Let me, can you just forward that?
Mhm. Okay, which one?
Before this, yeah.
Before that, there was nothing, right?
No, right.
It's
And
just
that list only, Mataji.
okay, that list. Okay.
7 qualities. Saundarya, then Saurabhya.
Sausvarya, Saukumarya, Sausvarya, Audarya, and Karunya.
Mhm. So first is the sight. Okay. Eyes. Yeah.
Then fragrance, then
Yeah.
ears, then touch. Now this touch and this Saukumara and Saurasya depends upon the mood of a bhakta, that whether he is in Dasya bhav or Sakhya bhav, Vatsalya bhav or Madhurya bhav. Krishna will respond accordingly. Then his Audarya and then his Karunya.
So nice. So this also eventually comes when we chant, right? We're supposed to have Nam Rup Guna Leela. And should we also understand that when we see the form, eventually all these also manifest?
Yeah, so when we chant the holy name,
Mhm.
Krishna's Naam, then slowly Krishna's qualities will manifest, guna. Then his roop, that is his darshan.
Isn't
When
it Nam Rup Guna Leela? Nam Rup Guna Leela.
Naam Roop Gun Leela, Naam, oh, maybe, yeah, I may be wrong.
So when we say Rup itself,
Rupa
all,
means,
all of these slowly start manifesting.
yeah, Krishna is bound. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says Krishna is bound to bestow his darshan.
And this all happens only in the platform of Prema. And as you mentioned,
Yeah.
Prema is possible, like you gave a formula or something, that actually it happens when you see Krishna only face to face.
Yeah, then only Prema is, yeah, awakened.
Well, so Prema is awakened when you see Krishna. And
Prema is actually, he's saying that it's not that first you see Krishna, then Prema awakens. It's Prema that awakens. It's first Prema that awakens because this bhav gets matured.
Mhm.
And then the desire is there to attain Bhagavan.
Mhm.
And the desire is there to see, to do something which is favorable for Bhagavan. And then the desire to have deep relationship or affection for Bhagavan. So this is what the prema is. And at the level of prema, one becomes siddha. Once one becomes siddha, understands that there is no use of all the other purusharthas, but focus on that pancham purushartha, that is love of Godhead. And having that characteristics of, then when that desire develops, then that desire is so intense, so eager, that Krishna is forced to show his darshan.
So doesn't mean that only people who are participating in Krishna Leela come to the point of prema. A person who comes to the point of prema gets sakshat darshan
Yeah.
of Krishna. That's the
So
other way.
Krishna will give his darshan only to the premi bhaktas. And with that, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that, do you mean that, okay, Krishna gives darshan to his premi bhaktas, but Krishna gave darshan even to Duryodhan, even to Shishupal, even to Shakuni.
Oh, like that.
Everybody saw darshan. But then Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, that's not how you see Krishna. Seeing Krishna means understanding Krishna's qualities. Seeing Krishna means understanding or having the devotional aspect for Krishna.
Yeah, I think this is guna, right? All these different qualities, 7 qualities of guna. Nam Rupa, I mean,
Guna.
just flows with guna.
Yeah.
Very nice. Okay, that was very clear. Then, can you please go slide by slide, Mataji? I had 3, 4 questions. Just quickly go down.
Yeah. So this
Yes,
is then is Audarya, then Karunya, then this was the verse, and then the energies.
yeah.
to discuss.
So, okay.
And then finally Krishna's qualities.
Qualities. Why envy, Mataji?
Yeah, that is in faults.
Sorry, in faults. Yeah.
In faults, Krishna's enviousness is there. Krishna, like Matsarya, right? This is the fault in the jivas. But Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that this fault is also present in Krishna because Krishna is known as, what you remember? There is a word also in huh?
Yeah, we were asking this question earlier also, right?
Kamsa, what? Dusha, Kamsa Dusha. So he's envy of Kamsa, he's envy of Indra because he wants to kill them. Why? Not because they were harming him, but because they were harming his devotees. And for devotees, Krishna gets this quality of envy.
Then why do we say when you go to the spiritual world, there is no envy?
Yeah, there is no envy because if Jiva possess this envy, then they cannot enter into Krishna Leela. They cannot enter into Krishna's pastimes. But that doesn't mean that Krishna doesn't have this. Krishna can have. But Krishna also can have only for the protection of his devotees. If somebody harms Krishna, Krishna is okay to bear. Because one of his qualities is titikshva, to tolerate. He tolerated Jarasandh for how many times? But then, when it came to destroy, then he took up his anger and he destroyed even Jarasandh also. So this, yeah, go ahead.
You went on with that 4th and 5th, right? Harshness and libidinousness. Okay. So these 2, you said that even in his Naralila, Krishna, he doesn't
have this. That's what Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says. That out of these 18, these 2, harshness, that is ruksha rasata, and libidinousness or intense lust, is not there in Krishna. Even in his Narvatila, it's not there. Krishna is never lusty and Krishna is never harsh. The harshness, apparent harshness that we see in Krishna's Leela is actually Krishna's compassion.
And even the envy is the compassion.
Envy is also compassion, but he says that even for envy, Krishna might possess because to protect his devotees. But that harshness and that calm is never there in Krishna.
Okay, yeah. And gracefully manifest them. Mataji, one more previous slide, Mataji. And previous slide, last, and the previous. That's all. Okay, Mataji. Yeah. So why did you talk about the energies of Bhagavan? What was the context why you spoke about it?
Context was that when we were seeing here that how Krishna bestows his, there was a doubt, right? That Krishna, then because of his karunya, he bestows his sweetness of karunya, and the devotee can relish simultaneously Krishna's all the sweetness of his beauty, the taste of his lips, and the hearing of his melodious voice. Devotee relish everything simultaneously together. It is because of his karunya shakti. Sorry, karunya sweetness, madhurya. Because we were discussing all these are Madhurya, remember?
Mm-hmm.
These are all Madhuryas, Krishna's.
Right, right.
It is Krishna's 7 qualities. So
Mm-hmm.
when he bestows his Karunya quality, then devotee relishes all the sweetness of Krishna simultaneously.
Okay.
But then Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur brings up this point that yes, Karunya is one of the sweetness, but he also describes that Karunya is also Krishna's energy.
Mm-hmm. Okay,
So
so Karunya has both
both the
energy.
things, energy as well as his sweetness, and therefore he describes, and he just quotes this one verse from Hari Bhakti Vilas, and just he mentions, he doesn't go in detail that what are this Vimala Shakti, what is Utkarshni Shakti.
Mhm.
He just gives this verse, but I was inquisitive to know that what are these quality, what are these energies.
Yeah,
He just
actually,
mentions this verse, and he mentions that how these all are like of 8 petals of the lotus, and the whirl of that lotus is his Anugrah Shakti, which is Krishna's Anugrah Shakti, or Karunya Shakti is also Krishna's sweetness. So he reconciles it in this way and he ends.
I see. Okay, so he is going back to the world of the lotus and
Mm.
saying Anugraha is Karunya, and it's both the sweetness as well as the energy.
As well as the Shakti.
Okay.
But he also says that I'm mentioning here just the 8 because it is one lotus, but Krishna has innumerable energies.
Yeah, like we see even in the Goloka chart, these Shaktis are mentioned. This
Yeah.
Vimala, Utkarshini,
Mm.
Jnana, Kriya, Yoga, Brahmi. Yeah, that lotus petals is there.
Everything is there. So, but I was not able to find that what is Vimala Shakti, what is Utkarni Shakti. But
Mhm.
thanks to Srila Radha Govind Maharaj, I was able to find one lecture in which he
Very nice.
mentioned about these 8 Shaktis in detail. And then the 9th Anugrah Shakti, which is the whirl of that lotus.
So, the devotee who participates in the Prakat Leela of Krishna is the one who manifests this prema bhakti. Is there some connection like that, or anybody in the, like you said, 3 lives to perfect? When he's in the 3rd life of perfection, whether he's participating in the Prakat or he's not participating in the Prakat, either way, he can come to the platform of prema. Is that the understanding?
Yeah, that's what Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says.
So it can be whether he's participating or not, he may develop prema.
He may develop that prema.
I see. Okay. But
Because here
definitely,
also we see that there are so many prema bhaktas who are apparently not participating in Krishna's Prakat Leela, but they are participating in Krishna's Aprakat Leela, though we see them walking here in
correct.
Bombay. Yeah.
Yeah. And they would have had a past birth of Baba.
Of course, definitely. That is very much needed. That impression, that strong impression should be there. If that is not there, one cannot come to this level of prema.
Very nice. Thank you, Mataji. Thank you so much for patiently answering everything. I know I bored you like anything,
No,
but
no,
others are waiting. Yeah.
I hope I'm able to make some sense.
Yes,
So
totally.
I'm just, because trust me, in this prema section, I'm simply reading. I'm not doing anything.
Reading is
That's
enough.
difficult.
It's a lot. Yeah.
Yes, Vasundhara Mataji, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandvat Pranams. As
Dandavad.
usual, best. I mean, no words to speak. A. B is that, I wouldn't even have anything to comment at all because absolutely no qualification for me, even to ask or comment or whatever. But the thing is, it is so encouraging, is what I can say. And quickly, when I saw all this, when I was hearing all of this, immediately kind of a gratitude came in my heart that I need to present to the acharyas of the parampara who have given access to all these revelations before us. So we need to be so grateful, because this is something so confidential, not even available to many of us. So we need to definitely be grateful to all our parampara acharyas. And secondly, definitely grateful to you for your efforts to bringing us this beautiful knowledge. And of course, as I said, it is like, it is looking to me like, my God, will I ever be eligible for these things to experience? The first thought came, but later on, the words of Srila Prabhupada echoed in my ears. He says, "Give one lifetime to me, right? You will release that Krishna prema." And many places, Srila Prabhupada says, it can happen in the very lifetime. It based on how sincere and dedicated you are. But I know very well I'm not there. But the thing is, I don't want to lose the hope, right? Because at the end of the day, Srila Prabhupada says, yes, it is going to happen. But how? My God, it's a multi-million-dollar question. And of course, we hear that one to achieve Krishna prema, at least minimum 2 lifetime or 2 births. That's what even I heard in the other sessions in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu Southern section, at least minimum 2 lifetimes to be there. So I don't know how it's going to happen. Maybe some kind of a miracle, mystical krupa of Guru and Krishna. So there's definitely that hope. But the only thing is, after seeing all this, hearing all this, and these experiences, definitely something that we need to have the profound belief in our Acharya's words. So with that belief, it gives that kind of, inspiration, encouragement to continue our endeavors and continue to have faith in the words of Srila Prabhupada that's all I can say, Mataji. And I would like to end with saying that lot of gratitude to you for bringing this knowledge closer to us. So I'm grateful to you. I don't know if I can ask you this question because I don't know, just the part of inquisitiveness, because after having this, that kind of inquisitiveness arose in my mind. But please excuse me if you feel it is irrelevant. So I'm okay, Mataji. If the sadhaka getting that perfection stage and he goes through all these experiences, so he continues. This is the day one. I mean, not even the day one, the moment he lands up there. So this is the experience the sadhaka is, the premi bhakta is experiencing. This kind of a thought, I don't know why it came, Mataji. There are Nitya Siddhas. So the sadhana Siddha has achieved perfection, right? So will there be at all any distinction later between the Nitya Siddhas and the sadhana Siddhas? In terms of will the Nitya Siddhas, the relationship between the Nitya Siddhas and the sadhana Siddhas, will at all there will be some distinctions?
No.
Not at all, right? Probably they will not even understand, or that you are I become a sadhana siddha. Even that portion is also not available, right? It's like we are termed as in par with Nitya Siddhas.
Yes.
Even Krishna also will not have the distinction. This is a devotee who became a perfected devotee, nothing of that sort, right?
Once you reach
And
there, you are with Krishna.
That's it. And I suppose this is experience one releases day in, day out. I mean, sorry, I don't know, it's too much there.
What,
But
Mataji? Can you come again?
sorry, is this experience, the Siddha, the Premi Bhakta experiences day in, day out? I know too much of
Day in and
asking.
day out. Yes, Mataji, of course. It has to be constant. Apratihata nahituki. It has to be day in and day out.
Yeah, because there's no time concept in the spiritual in Goloka
Of course,
Vrindavana. So it is that present time, just
See,
that
once
present
you
time.
are there, you are with them, you behave like them. Once
Mm.
the Jiva reaches there, Jiva is with them. Then he is the part of Krishna's spiritual world. Then nothing related to the material world. Once gone, gone means once you have achieved that Golok Vrindavan level of prema, there is no return ticket. Not
Oh
at
my
all.
God, it's so relishing. Just the thoughts itself so relishing, Mataji. Right? Hearing all of this, it is so relishing. Even
And-
while you were explaining the faults of Krishna, it never sounded like faults. It was
Yeah.
actually relishing. Honestly, it was
All
relishing.
relishing. Yeah, it was all
Right?
relishing. That's
Because
why Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that these faults are not apparent faults that we see in the jivas. Actually, without these faults, Krishna's pastimes will not be enhanced.
absolutely, absolutely. It looks so nectarian with all these faults, because you're able to, when you correlated with the pastimes, it sounded so beautiful. If Krishna had not exhibited these qualities, probably wouldn't have enjoyed those pastimes, is what I felt for a moment. Right, Mataji? So, so sweet. And again, as I said, thank you so much. And grateful to you, Mataji, honestly, from the heart. Hare
Thank you
Krishna. Dandavats.
for your association and thank you for your sincerity. And one thing I would like to say, that you said that have belief in Shastras, have belief in Srila Prabhupada words, it will manifest. But then, as we have repeatedly saying, that our sadhana is only to come to the level of our Sakti. This bhava and prema are self-manifesting. They will manifest by the supreme sweet will of Krishna through the mercy of Srila Gurudev. Okay, so this we have to keep in mind. So whether you name it as a miracle, or you name it as a compassion, or you name it as Kripa Shakti, it will manifest on its own. We don't have. Once, first of all, the bhakti manifests itself. Once the bhakti is manifested, we start working on it, on that seed, and we have adhikar only to the level of asakti. After the bhava and prema again will be self-manifested.
Sweet. Thanks so much, Mataji, for reiterating this. Thanks again. Hare Krishna.
So thank you all so much. Thank you for joining us. So we'll see you all next Friday, and probably in 2 Fridays, we'll try to end up this Madhurya Kadambini. So we'll pay obeisances to all the Vaishnavas. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha.
Sakalpurvyascha krupasindhubhya patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah.
Ananda Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai, Srila
Jai.
Prabhupada.
Jai.
Vaishnavas.
Jai. Thank you,
Kirtida
Mataji, for
Sundari
the beautiful
Mataji ki
class. Hare
jai.
Krishna.
Radhe Radhe. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees, and in the comment. Darshini, was you telling something?